What's up, everybody? This is the Sports League Podcast, back for another week. I'm your host, Alex Leak, and we got Dean back on the show. Dean, it's been a while, but it's great to have you back on.
This is awesome. I've missed you, but I'll tell you, the season flew by, so I don't even know if we'd have had time to talk about much of it.
Well, at least we get the playoffs this year, the first time ever, huh? For
Yeah, I mean, this
it,
was a long time coming. This is a good move.
yeah, absolutely. The 12-team playoff, and we're gonna have multiple rounds and a bunch of teams in it, and it kicks off on Friday night with Indiana at Notre Dame. You're going to be at that game. That's going to be awesome. It should be nice cold weather in South Bend and a great football game to watch, huh?
Yeah, I packed my long johns and my sweaters, and I don't know if
Layer
that's
up.
still going to be enough. I'm not used to
Yeah,
that cold weather.
yeah. But I
Yeah,
I like that we're getting a lot of cold weather for the first round of the playoffs. I like the idea of the home games in the first round.
yeah, it's a reward to some teams. It's an incentive. So I
Yeah.
think it was a good idea to do that. Yes.
So we've got a battle of two 11-1 teams. Indiana at Notre Dame. You got the coach of the year, Kurt Signetti, for Indiana, and Marcus Freeman, who's had a great year as well. How surprised are you that Indiana's been as good as they were this year?
Well, I knew that the coach was from James Madison, and he did a great job with them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even still, that team with a different coach and everything and different players is still pretty good.
Yeah.
I think they're even won their ball game today.
Nice.
So I knew that he was a very good coach. I'm just I can't tie why he ended up in Indiana. Do you have any inkling how that worked?
Yeah, I have no idea. That's pretty cool though, and it's cool to see him have success there. It's been so long since Indiana's been like any good, and especially this good.
Yeah, well, I think the main thing though there you got to remember that when he got there, he pulled in a lot of his uh, previous players.
Okay.
So I mean, he filled up the roster with some pretty good players. So they're not just the old Indiana Hoosier players he had there. I mean, he still has some, but the main players were transfers for him. So that's one reason why they so instantly were good.
Yeah. That's do you think it's easier now than in the past to turn a program around in 1 year with NIL and the ability to bring in a whole new, team of players?
Yes, I do. You see it
Yeah.
with Colorado and other places. Um,
Yeah.
you get your guys to just go with you,
Mm-hmm.
and then you've already got a pretty good nucleus, and then you use a little more transfer portal, and yeah, I think you can turn a team around in a year. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and credit to Marcus Freeman. He's done a really good job at Notre Dame as well. Some people were worried about maybe a letdown after Brian Kelly left, but he's done a great job of bringing in a lot of elite talent at Notre Dame, and he's got them contending.
Yeah, and he brought in some good coaching too. So I mean, that's got a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
I've always contended that Notre Dame has always had good talent,
Mm-hmm.
even maybe great talent, but not good coached.
Yep.
And I think that's helped a lot too. And he's been a good leader. He demands a lot from his players and coaches. So yeah, he's doing a very good job there at Notre Dame.
So this game is going to be a great matchup. I think this is going to be hard fought. It looks like two really good defenses. Notre Dame has an elite defense. They got a great run offense. Um, Indiana, I believe I saw they're the like number one run defense in the country. Are you buying that? Do you believe that?
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Now, I haven't really looked at the stats to verify that myself,
Uh-huh.
but they have played very good defense. Even against when they played Ohio State, they played good defense. It just got away from them.
Yeah. And we'll see if they've learned from that game, right? And can
Yes,
can yeah, do better this time around. Yeah, credit to their defensive coordinator, Bryant Haynes. And I think the key is Notre Dame is an excellent running team. Can Indiana stop the run and force Riley Leonard and the Notre Dame offense into passing situations, right? Or will Notre Dame dominate the line of scrimmage in the run game, you know? That's going to be a big question.
yeah, I think there'll be the old boxing scenario, feeling each other out the first few, uh,
Mm-hmm.
you know, plays and possessions, but they'll get to know what each of them are good and bad at. So
Yeah.
it could be pretty tough for a while for both of them.
Yeah, I think it's going to be lower scoring, just grinded out football, and it's probably going to come down to the fourth quarter and who makes the play. For Indiana, it's can they protect their quarterback? You know, Notre Dame's going to be trying to get after Curtis Rorick.
Yeah, it's going to be the same kind of scenario that you've seen all year. So
Mm-hmm.
it's I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. I wouldn't be it wouldn't surprise me if Indiana won. Um, they shouldn't
Yeah,
by all definition of stats and everything. I mean, um, but you know how that goes. Stats don't really mean anything till you get on the field and play the game.
yeah.
So it's the team that's prepared.
Well, and your numbers system, scoring system, is really interesting with the 12-team playoff, and Notre Dame and Indiana are very close, number five
Yeah,
and number seven.
yeah,
So
yeah. There's a lot of respect for both of them. So
yeah, it's gonna be fun. I can't wait for this game. I think it's gonna be cold weather, dominant defenses, low scoring, lots of running for the football, old school football, right?
yeah, that's what I expect too.
Yeah. So I give the edge to Notre Dame being at home. Um, Probably being slight more talented, but even if it's slightly, but more talented. And the they do have the coach of the year, so it's gonna come down. Coaching's gonna matter as well.
Yes.
But if you were gonna make me pick, I think I got Notre Dame by like a field goal, and like 17-14 or 16-13, something like that.
Yeah, I actually think there'll be a little bit more scoring that they're going to figure each other out. You know,
Okay.
uh,
Yeah.
I think there'll be some more scoring than that.
Get into the 20s.
Yeah, I do. I don't know. It's going to be cold, so I mean it's going to be rough and tumble.
Yeah.
The catching the ball will be hard
Yeah.
with a cold ball, and throwing it even would be hard. So
I
it's going to
love
be a grind them out.
yeah, I love seeing the hard hits in the cold. And you got to be like that's got to hurt so much more.
Yes, for
But
sure.
um any concerns? Last time we saw Notre Dame play, they gave up 35 points and 500 yards at
Yeah.
USC. They still got the win, but I expect them to play a lot better defensively. How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, I don't know what happened with that.
Yeah.
I was very surprised at that too. Um, I don't know. I just believe that they'll have their act together. They have plenty of time to figure out Indiana,
Yeah.
and I think they'll adjust and be just fine.
Yeah,
So
I
I,
agree.
I'm not
And
I'm not too concerned about that last game.
no, and that's those rivalry games. You never know what's going to happen, and
Right.
uh, USC they could be. they can be struggling all season long. And Notre Dame comes into town, and it's going to be hard fought. So
Yeah, been bit several times by the Trojans.
yeah,
Yeah,
but yeah, it's going to be a great game, and we'll see. It could come down to a big play by a defense too, a fumble recovery, return for a touchdown, or a pick six, something like that could be huge in determining the outcome. And
yeah.
how about the consolation prize for whoever wins this game gets to take on Georgia in the next round?
Now that sounds good, doesn't it? But so, I mean, bring them
Yeah,
on, right? I mean, what you got to get by them sooner or later, right? So,
yeah. Got to beat the best
no
to be
matter
the
what
best.
the next round is,
Yeah,
those teams are decent teams. So it
yeah,
doesn't.
yeah. It's gonna be awesome. What do you think about, like, a lot of people are talking about how they should reshuffle the seeds once they're past the round so that but they're not doing that. So no matter what, you're playing the team in that bracket. How do you feel about that?
Well, this is the first year of toying with something they know nothing about.
Yeah,
Okay. Now,
yeah,
if this was the other division, the FCS, they
yep.
know what they're doing. So it's going to take some time. There'll be some adjustments to the next year, hopefully anyway, and they'll
hmm
make a little more sense of it. But this is the first time. I mean, I think I'm just excited to have the thing expanded.
Yeah, me too.
I don't really care that they've screwed it up already, but
It doesn't need to be perfect yet. We're just happy it's
no,
here.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
How about so then we got three games on Saturday, and a lot of people are talking about the a noon whiteout game for Penn
Yeah,
State. That's going to be interesting. It should be cold there as well, going up against SMU.
yeah,
Uh, SMU well from the back in the day and stuff, and they're pretty good this year. I didn't know SMU was this good, but I saw Des Bryant was picking them to win the national championship, picking them to win the whole thing. How are you feeling about SMU coming in?
yeah. I don't think I'd go that far, but
Yeah,
um, yeah, SMU has been reborn. Um, the death penalty ruined them for decades,
yeah, yeah.
and it took an awful long time for them to get back to even being competitive.
It's cool
And
to see them back, though.
pardon?
It's cool to see them back, though, and in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think it's important that they're back into it again.
Yeah.
I mean, the Pony Express back in the day was just a great thing to watch,
Mm-hmm.
and it's pretty cool to have the ponies back competing at this level.
Yeah, absolutely. And a tough game at Happy Valley, Penn State. They're a great team. They're going to be tough to beat. Um, the big question, and tell me what you think of this. A lot of people talk about James Franklin inability to win the big game. Right? They always are competitive. They're always right there, but always seem to stumble and slip up at some point. Right?
Yeah, it's kind of his middle name, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's sad to see, but it
Yeah.
happened this year too. You know, lost the ones that were really, really important to win,
Yeah.
and I mean, this one is right there. This is the big one. This is a playoff game
Yeah.
at home, and
Yeah.
I mean, can you take care of business at home?
Yeah.
It just,
I
I don't know.
I think home field, this like you said, it's the first time we're doing this, and I think home field's going to matter a lot, in my opinion. Um, and I think SMU is not ready for the cold. I don't think they're going to be excited about playing, Penn State outside in December, and so I give Penn State the edge. They've also got a very good defense, or top 10 defense, and
Yeah,
you got the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, Abdul Carter, on that D line. So
Yeah, I don't. I still think it's possible that SMU could win it.
Uh-huh.
I think any of these teams, anybody can win it.
Yeah.
However, yeah, I agree. I think Penn State has them outmanned, and that the weather will be an issue.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I think Penn State should win this ball game. Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to this game. I haven't seen much of SMU this year, so I'm gonna be checking them out, see how they look. Quarterback Kevin Jennings, 9-1 as a starter. Running back Brashard Smith. Uh,
Yeah.
their their head coach Rhett Lashley doing pretty well, bringing them back. So it's a great opportunity. This would be a statement win if SMU can pull it off, but we'll see if they can.
Yeah. Again, I believe they can. So
Yeah,
it's going to be worth watching.
yeah, absolutely. But I'm gonna pick Penn State and see if SMU can prove me wrong. I'm gonna take Penn State by like 6. I think it's gonna be a good game, hard fought, but they're gonna do just enough to get the win. I think.
Yeah, I think in the cold weather that SMU is going to have a hard time scoring.
Yeah,
And I think Penn State's going to have an easier time scoring. I think the spread would be more than that.
yeah,
I
double
think
digits or something.
yeah, it could be double figured. Yeah,
Yeah. How about Clemson, Texas? This is a good matchup, a great coaching matchup. Dabo Sweeney against Steve Sarkisian.
yeah,
Uh, I think Texas has the clear advantage here, in my opinion. But Quinn Ewers hasn't exactly been playing his best ball of late either. So we'll see how this game's going to go. What are your thoughts on it?
well, if he doesn't play well, there's a decent backup behind him.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So I'm not too worried about the quarterback for Texas. Um,
absolutely.
yeah, I think I really think Texas is a pretty tough team this year,
Yeah,
and
elite defense.
they're playing a team that backed into the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I
Oh,
have little confidence that Clemson's going to hang with them.
yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts? I think that Miami would be more of a threat in the playoff than Clemson. And what are your thoughts on the emphasis on conference champions as opposed to just the best 12 teams?
Well, I got mixed emotions about that. I would prefer we have the 12 best teams,
Yeah,
but you can't really you've got to either you respect conference championships or you don't.
yeah, exactly. That's
I
a tough
mean,
one.
yeah, why have conferences if you don't reward them for winning that conference?
Yeah,
So I can understand both sides. What I don't like is that they seeded in the second round those conference champions.
yeah,
I think it should have been you're guaranteed in the playoffs, period,
yeah,
and then list them based on their rating.
yeah. I agree because I don't know what Arizona State's doing at number 4, in my opinion.
Yeah, right. I mean, but you know why they're there. See, I mean, it
Yeah,
it, it doesn't lend itself to common sense in my mind.
yeah, yeah,
But again, this is brand new to them, so they had to do something, and they just went too far with the rewarding the conference champion.
yeah. And
I
as we
mean,
go, year 2, year 3, I think they'll fine tune it and it'll get better and better.
yes, yeah, but right now it's all right.
Yeah, yeah. We're reaching to find something to complain about, right?
Well, you can
Yeah,
always find something to complain about, but we go back to the beginning of our conversation. Isn't it great to have an expansion?
yeah, exactly.
So we
Flo-
got to back off a little bit and give it a shot.
Florida State saying 1 year too late.
Yeah, yeah, isn't that awful? Yeah,
Yeah. Um, but yeah, this Texas number 2 scoring defense, number 1 pass defense. How cool is it for you? I mean, I know he's not starting, but to see Arch Manning out there, you know, after all the years, me growing up watching Peyton and Eli, it's cool to see another Manning playing quarterback.
Yeah, and what was interesting is that his older brothers, uh, when they talked about uh, their younger one,
Hmm.
they seemed to say this guy is better than they were,
Yeah.
and then it was like, really, come on, really, how's that possible?
Yeah.
But he sure does. He looks like he knows what he's doing out there.
Yeah.
I'm impressed with him.
He looks like an athlete. He can actually run as opposed to the brothers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, I think that was really a kind of surprise. I was hoping to see him play just to see if that was all talk or what. But man, he goes in there and right away he does something
Yeah.
spectacular.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
wow.
that Manning DNA. You can't go wrong, huh?
Yeah, I'm just a little surprised that he was willing to sit behind another player.
Me too. And I think that that's having good people in his ear, like saying, just be patient, trust the process, your time's going to come, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Um, and I think we'll see him in this game and in the playoffs. Like, he's not going to start, he's not going to play a ton of snaps, but I think you're going to see him get out there and play a couple downs at least.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't hope. I hope there's not a problem with the starter, but yeah, I want to see him out there also, and not when it's over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and but the bottom line is you want to win the ball game. So I mean, if the starter doesn't do well, the backup is going to come in.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I
You
think
got to
they're in
back
good
up that
hands either
good.
way.
Yeah. A cool stat here, Clemson quarterback Cade Klubnik versus Texas quarterback Quinn Ewers, and they actually played against each other in a high school state championship game.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
rematch.
yeah. That's a little more incentive for both those guys.
Yeah. Do you give
Yeah.
Clemson any shot at all here?
Oh man, lemon none. I give them
Yeah.
really. It would be a huge upset in my mind if
Yeah.
Clemson was to beat them.
Yeah. I agree.
Now,
Texas.
now again, it's college football.
Yeah.
Anything can happen, but if the turnovers give Clemson time or opportunities,
Oh yeah.
that could make a difference. So,
Yeah.
but again, I don't see that should be a problem for Texas.
Man, looking at Texas' path to the national championship, it looks pretty easy.
Yeah,
Like, beat Clemson, play Arizona State.
yeah,
They're going to be favored in that one as well. And then you get the winner, Boise State and the winner of Penn State SMU. Texas got a really nice path,
yeah. They
and
do.
they're talented. They're good enough to win the whole thing too. So
Well, yeah. I mean, a lot of people picked them at the very beginning that they were going to be the national champion.
yeah,
So, I don't think those people are backing off that thought at all.
yeah. And that would be cool for Steve Sarkisian. He's battled and gone through a lot.
Yeah,
That would be a really big for his resume.
absolutely would. Yes.
Yeah. And then the last playoff game, Saturday night, Tennessee at Ohio State. This is a very interesting matchup, and I think this is going to be a great game.
I do too. Again, the only thing is you got cold weather and a southern team,
Yeah.
and so
This-
it's going to be whether or not they adapt to that situation.
I feel like Tennessee is built better to be able to withstand that and play in the cold. Do you?
Well, they're not as deep south as the rest of these guys are, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think sometimes you can put too much emphasis on the cold,
Yeah.
and all you got to do is play the game, execute.
Yeah.
The weather shouldn't really have that much to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
I mean, I think Tennessee will be prepared to play in the cold.
yeah, I think they'll be ready to go in this game, and it's going to be a fun running back matchup. Dylan Sampson against Quinshot Judkins,
Yeah.
uh, two elite running backs. And what are your thoughts? I mean, we haven't been doing these episodes. How surprised were you of Michigan's win over Ohio State and the way they did it too, holding the Buckeyes to just 10 points?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it just kind of pushed him around. I mean, that was just unbelievable.
Yeah,
You know, I don't think anybody expected. Uh, I don't, and nobody expected that.
yeah,
You know, I mean, I don't even think anybody expected a close game.
yeah. I
I
know.
mean, the Harball's gone. Their main core of players is gone.
Yep.
You know, and when they're what they're about 500 ball, and it's like, you know, how could you have any problem with this guy?
Yeah,
And they did.
yeah. It was
But
crazy.
I mean, you know, I mean, you talk about a coach dilemma.
Yeah.
I mean, if he doesn't get past Tennessee,
Oh
I
yeah.
think he's gone.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's still there, frankly. And
Yeah,
I agree 100%. If they don't beat Tennessee, he's absolutely gone.
yeah, yeah,
Um, and I was surprised with Chip Kelly's offense to only put up 10 points against Michigan. And they've got elite wide receivers, and they didn't really. It's like they were trying to match Michigan with the run game, the ground and pound, instead of using their receivers and going up over the top, you know?
yeah. They had a very poor plan, is what it
Yeah.
looked like. Yes,
Yeah.
and they never really tried anything else. So I don't know. I mean, that falls on the coach. So
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
but
What's
yeah.
your thoughts on Will Howard? Do you trust him? Do you like him as a quarterback, or do you have some questions?
Oh, I don't know. I I don't have any real opinion one way or another. I think he's an adequate quarterback. I don't think he's
Yeah,
great.
he's good, not great, probably.
Yeah,
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 yeah. So yeah, very interesting matchup. I mean, on paper, Ohio State should win this one, but the last time we saw Ohio State play, they look terrible. So we'll see. But
Well, if the coach can't get these guys up for this game,
yeah,
I mean, then it's on the players
yeah,
because you got to have some pride. You're playing at home. You know, you've been given a gift here to
yeah.
have a playoff game at your stadium. And if you don't get up for that, then you just don't belong there.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I think they'll be ready. I see Ohio State winning it.
Yeah, I do too. But I think it's going to be hard fought. I don't think they're going to blow them out or anything. I think it'll be probably single digits.
Yeah, they've
One,
been contested to the end. I agree. I don't think it'd be uh, more than a touchdown.
yeah. And then if they do win, that'll set up the rematch against Oregon, Ohio State, Oregon, and that was a great game we saw in October, the 32-31 battle, in Eugene.
Yes.
So
Yeah. Yeah, that would be interesting to see again.
I think that's
Um,
what a lot of college football fans want to see is that rematch.
yeah, I think so too. It would be an interesting one.
Yeah. So yeah, taking Ohio State. So I'm pretty much riding with all the home teams.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but it'll be interesting if we get how it goes. There's usually one upset. So
I just hope it isn't Friday.
yeah, exactly. If I'm gonna pick one upset, I'll go ahead and do it. I'll pick Tennessee over Ohio State. But Indiana's tough too. That Notre Dame better play their best ball because Indiana's a good team.
Yeah, I think that's the most likely upset would be the Tennessee game.
Yeah, agree.
Uh, so I mean, the other three. possible, but unlikely. Unlikely, but
Least likely is Clemson over Texas.
yeah.
Yeah,
So that'd be the one.
exactly. And that's the thing. You said it earlier, like turnovers. You get a couple turnovers, and anybody can upset anybody. You know.
Absolutely. Yeah, you got to play clean ball if you want to win ball games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts on the teams with bye weeks? Oregon is the only undefeated team at 13-0. Trying to win their first ever national championship. Dylan Gabriel playing some great football. How are you feeling about the Ducks? Do you think they should be the favorites, and do you see anybody stopping them?
Well, no one has so far.
Yeah.
They're going to be a handful for anybody, but um, I don't know. It's really hard to say. Um, I would say you'd have to favor them,
Yeah.
but I think Texas has got the best
Yeah.
shot to go all the way, and you can't count Georgia out. I mean,
Yeah, I was gonna ask you. I mean, Georgia would be my favorite, but no Carson Beck. That's huge. How big of a
yeah,
deal is that? Do you trust the backup at all? Have you seen any of Gunnar Stockton?
just when he substituted the last game is all.
Yeah,
I mean, he looked pretty decent actually, but a backup can come in and look great for one moment, but not.
yeah,
But if you're the starter, the whole load is on your shoulder,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
I think that's a big problem for Georgia.
Yeah. If Georgia can win the national championship without their starting quarterback, then Kirby Smart, I mean, he's gonna deserve all the praise, all the credit, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't see that happening. I still think it'll be Texas or Oregon. So
Yeah, I think if I'm gonna pick a team to win the whole thing, I'm starting to believe in Texas.
yeah,
Like, eh, we'll see how Quinn Ewers plays, but even if he struggles, you can go to Manning, and Manning, I think, is very capable of winning it too. So,
yes,
but anytime you have a defense like that, you know, same with Georgia, they got an elite defense, so you can, so we'll see.
yeah.
Is Georgia's defense as elite as it's been the last couple of years? It's taken a little bit of a step back, right?
They were up and down all year.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
you
was
saw
thinking
the
that.
Alabama game. I mean, they looked just awful.
Yeah.
That first half, and then they ended up um, picking up their defense, stopping Alabama, and came back and took the lead.
Mm-hmm.
So the defense is there.
Yeah.
I just don't know if they're were focused enough, or I don't know what their problem was.
Yeah, like consistency or not as disciplined as they should be.
Yeah, they had a lot more closer games than I think they've had in past years. So,
Yeah.
Georgia is beatable.
Yep. Well, even when Carson Beck was playing, I had some questions about him too at times. So
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
not
me
as
too.
they're not as unbeatable as they've been in the past.
I agree.
Um, how about Boise State? And a lot of people are making a big deal about the star running back Ashton Genty not winning the Heisman, and he absolutely deserved it. But also, so did Travis Hunter. I don't think you can go wrong either way.
Well, Travis Hunter screwed it all up.
Yeah,
I mean, it should have gone to Genty because, I mean, just look what he accomplished as a running back.
yeah, absolute monster
Okay.
season.
Yeah, I mean, it was just unbelievable what he accomplished.
Yeah,
But when you got a guy playing offense and defense and doing it
yeah,
very well, you got to give him the nod. So
yeah,
it was close voting if you saw it.
yeah, yeah. I don't think anyone got snubbed here. I think that's about how it is. Like Travis Hunter by a nose, but two
Yeah,
great players.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
It would have been
Well,
cool because once in a while you'll get like a MVP where it's like shared. I remember when Peyton Manning shared the MVP with Steve McNair. It would
yeah.
be cool if they like shared the Heisman.
Yeah. I don't think that's ever been done or ever will.
Yeah.
No, 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 I think it's legit. I think Travis Hunter deserved it.
Yeah.
He was awesome.
I'm just excited about seeing Ashton Genty in the pros. Wherever he gets drafted, I love the running back like that. He is one of the best I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was nice to see the award given to somebody other than a quarterback.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
And it's almost like a defensive player, which is, we'll take it.
absolutely. I mean, you think about it, if it had been just his, if it had only been on Travis Hunter's offense,
Yeah.
I'm not sure he'd have won the Heisman.
No, I don't think so either.
But because of the defense, I think
Hmm.
that put him in a new, different category.
And it's not like he can play both, it's that he excels at both.
Yes, yes.
So,
I don't think he excelled that well just as a receiver
yeah.
to knock off the Boise player, but the defense part of it just flipped it.
Yeah, they were talking about what was that Nick Nash, wide receiver for San Jose State, had a really good year, and some people were saying he should have won the Bolitnikoff Award.
Yes,
So,
yeah.
um,
Travis got a lot of hype. Uh,
yeah,
I mean, all the constantly, where these other guys didn't.
yes.
So, I
Like
mean,
that
the
Deion Sanders factor.
yeah, absolutely, and all that hype registered with the people who are voting.
Yeah.
So, but it's legit, I think, though.
Yeah,
Still,
I agree. The hype, yeah, we understand the hype, but the talent and all that, he's deserving of it. So,
right?
yeah. How are you feeling about Boise State as a whole? A great running back, but outside of the running back, how good are they in your opinion?
I think if you go back and look at their schedule, you got to say, well, okay, who do they beat?
Yeah,
I mean, I guess they beat what BYU or somebody, or I don't know, but
yeah,
they're good, capable, but unless that running game works well,
yeah,
they're going to have a tough time.
yeah. I think if Penn State comes in, I think Penn State could beat them.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I do too.
So, and SMU Boise State, that would be a fun matchup.
Yeah,
But
I mean that's more of a toss up then.
yeah, exactly. The battle of the horses.
Yeah,
But
horse race, huh?
yeah, Kentucky Derby.
Yeah,
But yeah, Penn. So it's a decent path for Penn State if they take care of business. We could get a really fun Penn State Texas matchup potentially.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Penn State seems to look like they got the easiest route.
hmm,
But they just got to be sure not to be looking ahead, saying, "Hey, we got the easiest route."
yeah, yep.
Don't do that.
Yeah, otherwise the narrative with James Franklin's going to continue.
Yes, absolutely.
And then Arizona State. I mean, I'm interested on your thoughts about this, but I'm not. I don't think they're like. I know they won the Big 12. I know that they're a good team. They're 11-2. I think they're one of the least talented teams in the playoff, and I'm not. I don't think anyone's really scared of them.
Well, I agree with that statement. Actually, I mean, you think about it, it's the Big 12,
Yeah.
first of all, right?
Yep.
I mean, in the Big 12, they were picked almost last.
Yep.
Uh, I mean, that should have been Utah or Kansas State or
Yeah.
Kansas or Iowa State.
Yep.
and it ends up being Arizona State. So they just happen to win the right ball games, and
Yeah.
the other teams just happen to lose the right ball games.
Yep.
So I don't see Arizona going anywhere but down.
Yeah.
You know, see now that's the thing that I argue about is why did they get rewarded the bye?
Yeah.
You know, I mean they
Exactly.
don't deserve that skip of a game.
No, Texas should be the bye,
Yes, yeah,
and
at
then
least.
have like Arizona State Clemson, and that's a much better matchup.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they you got to reward them for winning the conference, but not that spot.
Yeah.
That's the fallacy I see in the way it's set up right now.
Yeah.
Well, but I think they'll correct that.
Yeah, agree. But I don't think any of us will be surprised if Arizona State goes out right away.
Well, I'll be
Uh,
surprised if they win a ball game. Yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
no matter who they play.
Um, so I mean, yeah, your numbers had both Alabama and Army in the top 12. Army at 11-1, Alabama at 9-3. What do you think about how the numbers finished? And do you think that Alabama, Army, even Miami, any of these teams should have got in?
Well, Clemson shouldn't have been there, and it should have been probably Miami.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yep.
that kind of pushes them up a ways. They faltered there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Army was a quite a story,
Yeah.
but I don't know. It'd have been interesting to see some other team besides Navy play Army.
Yeah.
Navy knew how to play them.
Yeah. They needed that win. They needed to go undefeated. If
Yeah,
they did that, they would have been in.
yeah. I
And
mean, but Army was a good team, but I still don't think that they were actually playoff uh,
yeah.
strong.
Yeah. Yep. And then I'm sure you hear it a lot out there in Auburn territory in Alabama. Do you hear people out there talking about how Alabama should have been in?
Well, the people who follow the Tide, yes.
Yeah.
Uh, Here in Auburn, we're just very saddened that they're not there.
Yeah.
But you got to admit, 3 losses is a lot of losses for Alabama.
Yeah. Yeah.
So no, they didn't deserve to be in.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean that's why we're complaining about Clemson because they're a 3-loss team that got in, right?
Yeah, like I said, they backed in. They were given
Yeah,
that spot.
yeah.
So I
And
mean that
Miami should have been in, yeah,
yeah they didn't earn that spot.
yeah. And then lastly, let's talk about how are you feeling about Bill Belichick to North Carolina? How cool is that?
Total surprise.
Yeah.
I mean, I still can't get that straight in my head of why that would even be considered. Um, I don't know what's the connection there. Do you have any idea?
Well, so I believe his dad coached there.
Okay,
So it's kind of like going full circle. He saw an opportunity. He once, I believe, he wanted to coach in the NFL, but he didn't get the job last off season. He was everyone expected him to be hired by the Falcons, and that fell through. And so once that happened, he wasn't willing to be patient and see if an NFL job, the right NFL job, would open up. And there's a lot of the jobs that open up in the NFL are so poorly run with ownership and
yeah,
GM issues. He can go somewhere like North Carolina and be the king and run the football program with no one questioning him. You know what I mean?
yeah. It's going to be interesting because he's used to being the guy in control,
Yeah.
and he gets there. I mean, yeah, he's going to have a certain amount of control,
Uh huh.
but there's going to be transfer portal issues,
Yeah.
NIL,
Yeah.
and all that sort of thing, which you don't have a problem in the NFL dealing with.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to be an interesting transition for sure.
Absolutely, and it'd be interesting to see how he handles all of that. And they're
Yeah.
young kids now. They're not these older adults that are being paid big money. Well, I mean, they're paying the kids nowadays are being paid some good money, but I mean, but it's a different, a whole different ball game with kids in college ball than it is the pros.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
the attitudes are different. The players in pro, in my mind and my perception, is they play when they want to play. If
Yeah.
they want to take a play off or something, they do it. I mean, um, I don't see the dedication on all these rosters of guys that are they're just out there to play a game as hard as they can. And in the pros, in college, I see it all the time. And
Yeah.
kids are dedicated to their sport.
Mhm.
And so, I mean, in that way, he's going to be better off. That he's going to have a lot of willing players.
Yeah.
And I do think he'll draw in some talent now.
Yep.
Everybody's going to want to go there and play for the big guy, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's going to have no problem recruiting. I think a lot of these kids are going to want to go play for him. And he talked about what he wants to build there, and he's like, I want to build like a developmental program for the NFL. Like, come to North Carolina, and everything we do is gonna be to transition you for the pro game. And
Well, honestly, Alex, I don't think that's going to work uh,
yeah,
in college.
yeah,
North Carolina is going to say, okay, when do we get a championship?
yeah, exactly.
It's not, let's build for next year,
Yeah,
and then the next year, and maybe in 5 years we'll win something.
yeah,
No, the expectation is with North Carolina is that we're going to be good instantly.
mm-hmm,
And I think they can be if he can learn how to use the portal.
yeah,
He can develop a team almost instantly because the attraction will be there from all sources. So I don't know. I mean, he may think that that's his goal, but it's not. The goal is to
yeah.
win. It is to win now.
It's gonna be very interesting. And also, in Bill Belichick's contract, there's a lot of talk about there is a buyout option. Uh, for so like if he could go to North Carolina and try it out for a year, but there is a buyout option for 2025 if that's needs to happen and if the right NFL job were to open up. You never know with Bill Belichick.
Well, yeah, I don't know how dedicated he is going to be at North Carolina.
Yeah.
He's a pro coach.
Yeah, it's kind of like is he just trying it out just to have some fun and he misses coaching, so he just wants to go coach somewhere for a year and then have no problem leaving to go to the right NFL job that opens up. Like I don't think you can assume that he's going to be there long term and that it's going to automatically work either, right?
Well, I hope that that's not his thinking. I mean, I
Yeah,
really would hope that he's going there to make a winner out of this team.
yeah,
If he can do that and then move on, if he could pull North Carolina into this playoff system,
yeah. That
okay,
would be cool.
not only would he then be recognized again and be wanted for pros,
Yep.
you know, he would
Yeah.
only benefit himself to make North Carolina a winner.
Yep.
And so, I mean, uh, he, he'll he's got the talent. I mean, he's got to have some good coaches around him,
Mm-hmm.
and he'll get the players. So there's no reason why he couldn't do that.
Yep.
But once he becomes a real winner, then he may find a better job. But for
Yeah,
him to
I
stay
think.
for 1 year would be an insult to everybody that is involved with college football.
Yeah, and we'll see if it works. Because there's a lot of great coaches, like, but not many can do both pro and college. It takes a very it's rare. Like the Jim
Yeah,
Harbaughs are rare. The Pete Carrolls are rare, right? Like,
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah. So, but I think he will have a good staff. They're talking about Washington defensive coordinator, his son Steve Belichick coming to North
Yeah.
Carolina.
Yeah.
Uh, he could easily get, Josh McDaniels or Matt Patricia. He could easily build a good staff.
Yeah.
Uh,
Immediately. Yes.
yeah, so we'll
And
see what
like I
happens.
said, and like I said, he can build a roster instantly too. So
Yeah, yeah, turn it around in a hurry. So I want to see it. I think
yeah,
regardless of what happens, it's going to be fun.
yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it works. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just a
and
big surprise. That's all.
yeah, and I like it when North Carolina football is good. I mean, it'd be so cool to see them in the playoffs.
Yeah, wouldn't that be something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so. But interesting times in college football, huh? Who would have thought we'd be talking about all these topics right now? 10 years ago, right?
Oh, that's for sure. Yeah, college football has changed so much.
Yeah.
The thing that kind of bothers me is that we've got 12 teams right now, and not all of the conference championship champions are in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I find that. I mean, I know that they had always talked about uh, the different the different levels of football and the group of five and
Yeah. Power five conferences
Power
as opposed to
Five,
the others.
those two, and I look at that and I think, the I mean, we don't even have Power Five anymore. Now that we don't have, the Pac-12, it's you could say Power
Yeah.
Four.
Yeah.
When you think about it, is there really four power conferences? There's two for sure,
Yeah.
but the third one might be the ACC. But it's not up there with SEC and Big Ten.
Yeah, and they want to keep Big 12 in there, and it's like, really? Like,
Yeah. So I mean, to me, I mean, there's not that many Power Five teams or power teams.
that's why I think they do need to look more at the best 12 teams. I mean, I agree. You have to emphasize the conference championships, the conference champions, but still, you know, you got to be the best team.
Yeah, I mean, if I had any voice in this thing at all, first of all, I would question every conference and ask them, why do you have a conference championship game now?
Yeah,
You don't have divisions,
yeah,
so why are you having another game uh, and knock off one of your own teams?
yeah, exactly.
I
Have them
don't
take a
quite
loss.
understand that. Yeah,
Yeah,
uh, you know, I only think there's one conference that has East and West, and that makes sense.
yeah,
But the rest of them, it's like, why are you playing an extra game when you could end up knocking off your best team
yeah.
with playoffs? I mean, I know it's
And that,
money. I know it's
and
money and all that, but
yeah,
the the conference championships to me don't mean the same.
no, that's the casualty. They found a way to keep the bowl games, which is cool.
Yeah,
But that's the casualty, really, in all this is the conference championships.
yeah, I think so too. I think they should just do away with that. I mean,
Yeah.
it was already obvious in each conference who was the best team.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
um,
Instead of the conference championship, let them settle it out in the playoffs.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But in order to do that, they'll have to expand it. You know,
Yeah.
the thing that is the other division, the FCS, they have it figured out. They have 24 teams,
I think that's where we're headed.
but they didn't start out that way. I mean,
Yeah.
they originally started with 4, and then went to 8, and then 12, and then 16, and 20,
I
and
was
they
I
kept
was
building.
surprised. I thought we were going to go to 8. We went from 4 to 12 in a hurry.
Yeah, fortunately, yeah, yeah. I think the
Yeah.
8 would have been just as bad as the 4.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah, I don't know if 24 is really legit or not, but it needs to grow to 16 or 18 or 20
yeah.
to really and if you're going to honor uh, conference champions, you got to put them all in there,
Yep.
and
I mean,
then go by the list.
screw it. Let's get a March Madness going. Let's get a 64 team bracket.
Yeah, that would be interesting if you had enough time to do that.
You can't do that in football.
That would be great if you had time, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You have to start the season in like July.
yeah,
They're already talking about starting the season in August. August, like the first week of August.
yeah. They can move it back a few weeks and
Yeah.
allow for a few more games, but and I'd be all for that.
Yeah. Start the
that'd
season
be,
earlier.
that'd be
I'll
fun.
sign up for
Yeah, that's fine with me.
that.
But I don't know. I think it's worked out pretty well,
hmm
actually. Uh, Even my numbers compared pretty close uh, to the.
Anything surprise you from the numbers this year? Following along, what do you think this year?
I don't know. I
Numbers always seems to get it right, huh?
it always ends up with the right bunch of people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's looking only at what they did and not any toward anything.
Yep.
But just to tell you, um, the way it worked out, the college football playoff game teams and the numbers were the same.
Yeah. They agree.
Yeah.
And
So
then the
now
ones
that
that were where we disagree, Clemson and Arizona State, the numbers back up what we're talking about too.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, and of course the games that were then having to be changed because of their rating, but they were all there. I mean, it's all the same.
Yeah. The top 10 is exact.
Yeah.
So
So just
that
just a little bit different order, but they're all right there.
that's the really cool thing about your numbers system is that, and you talked about it before, where you can flip the rankings to start the season and put number one all the way down at the bottom, and by the end of the year, it'll fix it all.
It sorts it out according to what
Yeah,
they do. You earn your right back up to the top, and
that's so cool.
yeah, it looks funny for a while, but it gets there.
We got to get your numbers on an app.
Yeah, we'll work that out sometime, Alex. And
Yeah,
we can do something with that like that. I think other people would be interested in seeing how that works
absolutely.
and follow it along. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Hey, if we can be putting pro football or PFF rankings for the NFL, we should have number rankings up on ESPN and ABC next to the teams as well.
yeah. Well, I did tell you I was working on the numbers with the NFL. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
love that. I want to see that. It can translate to anything. College basketball, you name it. Numbers can be applied to it.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, it would work
Yeah.
for just about any sport if you wanted to apply it.
Yeah.
The
So
thing with basketball would be a lot more difficult because there's so many games and several in a week.
yeah. I mean, it'd be a
So,
lot of work, a lot of
yeah,
details and all that, but it would get it right. We
it
know
could be
that.
done. Yeah, it could be done. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, yeah, I think it's genius, and let's keep trying to push it, get more eyes on it for sure. But man, can't wait for these playoff games. Looking forward to seeing you at the Notre Dame game and doing some tailgating. And great to have you back on the show, Dean. It was awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Alex, very much. It's a joy to be with you. It's nothing is more in fun for me than college football. But
Yeah,
it's kind of fun to share with someone that has the same love for the game.
absolutely. And we'll try and get multiple episodes out here through the playoffs. I mean, it's going to be fun. Each round is going to have some great matchups. So I think we should try and do the second round as well. There'll be plenty of stuff to talk about. So,
Yeah, I'm all in.
all right, sounds good. Well, appreciate you taking the time. Great stuff. A lot of fun talking and previewing the playoffs. And enjoy the football this weekend. And we'll get you back on soon. Thanks, Dean.
Yeah, thank you very much. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and have a great week, guys. Peace out.